B to C. This is not this, okay? You can't miss this one. You'll always get a grid. Last year we did not have a grid on the exam, so my gut is telling me that this year there's probably one in there. So if you know what you're doing, you should be fine. So normally it goes like this. How many ways can you get from A to B if you can only travel a road once, okay? You can't go back and forth, so you kind of have to go, in this case you'd have to go east and south. That's the only ways you can travel. The counting method would be, right, there's only one way to get to this intersection, one way, right? So to get to all of these, there's only one way. You only travel on that same road to get there. Same if you go straight down. Okay? Same if you go straight down. And then you start adding, right? 1 and 1, there's 2 ways to get to this point. 2 and 1 is 3. 3 and 1 is 4. Okay? 1 and 2 is 3. 3 and 3 is 6. 6 and 4 is 10. 1 and 3 is 4. 4 and 6, 10. 20. Oh, it also goes all the way down. The 1 goes all the way down here. Then it's 5, 15, and 35, right? So there's 35 ways to get to B here if you use the counting method. If you use the formula, A to B, it's basically the same thing as words that have repeated letters. It's the same. I'm going to prove that to you. So if you just basically count from A to B, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 factorial. There's 7 factorial ways to get there. But then you gotta divide out the horizontal move. So there's 1, 2, 3 factorial. And vertically you traveled 4 steps, so it's 4 factorial. So that's how you would find that. What is 7 factorial? I always forget. 5,040. 3 factorial is 6. 4 factorial is 24. So it's 6 times 24 is 144. Moment of truth here. That is 35 as well. Okay, so that's like the most basic grid traveling that you can get. Okay, this is why we do this. Okay, this is actually in the textbook. It's directly related to words with the same letters. So if you think about it, you can travel east. There's 3 ways, 3 blocks to go east. So that would be E, E, E. East, east, east. How many ways can you travel south? So imagine this is a word, and I ask you how many ways can you scramble this up, this word right here? You'd be like, oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters in this word. There are 3 E's and there are 4 S's. Okay? And so that's where this is very much related to that same concept. So you can travel east, south, east, south, east, south, south. Like that's one way to get there. Or you could go south, south, east, southeast, southeast. So you're figuring out how many unique ways can you travel from A to B when you do this. Okay? So that's that. This is where there's no bottleneck, nothing. It's just one grid. I don't think I will go over the exact, like an exact example on how to do it, but let's keep it simple. Let's say you have, right, you want to travel from A. I'll keep this very simple. Okay? You want to travel from A to B, but you must go through that bottleneck. So sometimes they give it a letter. If not, you put a letter in there. So the first step would be to travel from E to C, right? And from C to B. That's the idea there. There's an and happening there. You have to do from here to here and then from there to there. The way you would tackle this one, AC you count 1, 2, 3, 4. There's in total 4 ways to get there. So 4 factorial over 2 factorial, 2 factorial. Okay, that is traveling from A to C. If you want to travel from C to B, you count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you basically go on the edges and you count the number of steps you would have to take if you go on the edges, so that's 4 as well, over 3 factorial and then 1 factorial. You're only traveling 1 unit south, okay? So that's how you would do that second part. And then you crunch these numbers and find out your final. One thing you should always observe is that the denominator, these numbers add up to the top, right? Like if you have a 3 and a 1, you're like, okay, that adds up to 4. I'm not guaranteeing you a right answer. You may have made a mistake at some point, but you're on the right track. Let's see if we can do this. This is 24, right? 24 divided by 4, that is 6. Then it's 24 divided by 6 is 4. So it's 24 ways according to my formula method. So let's do the counting real quick. 1, 1, 1, 1, right? You always start with 1. Then it's 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 1 is 3. 1 and 2 is 3, 3 and 3 is 6. You get to the bottleneck. There are 6 ways to get to here. You transfer that over just like that, okay? And you also transfer it over here. So when you're on the edges, you transfer the number that is at the bottleneck, you just transfer that over to those intersections. And then you go 6 and 6 is 12, 6 and 12 is 18, and there's your 24. So this is, some students like to do both just to verify to make sure they got it right, and that's probably a good strategy. There's one instance where you have to use the counting method. I'll show you that later. This was on an exam in 2007. They promised us to never bring it back, but I'll still prepare you just in case someone had a smart idea and wants to swing that at you guys. Promises can always be broken, right? What's the other one? The other one is when there's not just one bottleneck, it's actually 2. I hope this is beneficial. I'm not just boring you. Okay. You can see that through, so I'm just going to use this. So the other one is like this. I'm going to try my best to make this happen. Like this. And then it's almost like you're making a box here. I can make that work. Okay? So you're going from A to B. You're going from A to B, but there's 2 points that you could possibly divert to. So call this C, call that D, like split it up. So how would you handle this case? You have to go from A to C and then C to B. That's option number 1. Okay? AC and then CB. That's your first way to get there. Or you could go from A to D and then from D to B. So there's an or and there's an and. Okay, so and is always you're multiplying here, you're going from here to here and from here to there. Or, okay, you can go from A to D and from D to B. So there's multiplication and addition happening at the same time. So this is the most complicated of all. This one is the one where you have to be very careful. So, do you want me to solve it? Solve it? Yeah? Okay. A to C, you count. You basically ignore everything else. Okay? So there's 2 and 3, right? So there's 5 if you go on the edges. You can also go this way. 3 and 2. Don't go inside the grid. You just go on the edges. That's this first step. So it'd be 5 factorial over. You pick what you want to do. You want to count how many are horizontal. There's 2. And you count how many you traveled vertically. 3. So that's A to C. Lots of brackets here. Then it's C to B. So it's 1, 2, 3. You almost ignore everything else. Right? That's what you do right now. Just focus on C to B, make a rectangle. So there's 3 in total at the top. I'll stop doing brackets inside, no need for that. Then it's 2, 1. So 2 factorial, 1 factorial. 1 factorial is just 1, okay? Not a big deal there. Or, now we're going to go from A to D, so you ignore everything else. That would be 3 and 2, so 5 total on the edges. Then it's 3 horizontal and 2 steps vertical. And from D, you gotta just look at it right from here, D to B, so that is 3 total. And then it's 1 factorial, right, and 2 factorial this way. That is the formula method. So now you're going to help me out if I miss this, okay? Cheat sheet, I hope you have this. 5 factorial is 120, correct? 2 factorial is 2. 3 factorial is 6, so 2 times 6 is 12. 3 factorial is 6. 2 factorial is 2. 5 factorial is 120. This is 6 times 2, which is 12. 3 factorial is 6. 2 factorial is just 2. There we go. This is 10. You should not have decimals. If you have decimals, start over, okay? You cannot have decimals. That's 3. This is 10. This is 3. So it's 30 plus 30. So it's supposedly 60. Okay? That's the formula method. Let's do the counting method here. Okay, so this would be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Same as before. Okay. Then you go 1 and 1, 2 to get to this corner. 2 and 1, 3 ways to get to this corner. Think about it. There's 1, 2, 3, and 3 to get to here, right? If you go straight to here, 3 ways. 3 and 1 is 4. 1 and 2 is 3. 6, 10, 4, 10, 20. What do you do here when you're stuck? Transfer whatever number was here, transfer that over to this intersection. Same here. This 10 goes over here. And then just continue. 20 and 10 is 30. 10 and 20 is 30. 30 and 30 is 60. So you still come up with the same answer there.